wanted to pivot towards this other thing I ran into, and it's a little concerning. I told you a little while ago that I was listening to, I listen to audiobooks. I don't have time to sit there and just read, but the Great Reset by Glenn Beck.
Oh, yeah.
And I completed it, and it's so good. I might actually get the book because it's easier to go back and refer to certain aspects when it's print versus audio. But it was so good. I highly recommend folks go out and buy the book or, rent. You can't really rent it from the library, but you check it out.
You could check it out. Yeah.
There's some parts in it where it's like kind of projecting forward on what we think is going to happen. But there's so much documentation of what's already happened. And based on that, and especially with the last 2 years, you can make the connections of this idea that there's coming some sort of great reset. And one of the things that I ran across, which is because of the trucker protests and stuff that's going on in Canada, they want to implement this universal ID, digital ID system. Mm-hmm. Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to play this
Mind
video.
You, just so you know, I want to point this out. This was not to be ever talked about. This is old, but it's always been in a conspiracy file for years and years and years. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. So this is the banker who's coming out, and Canadian Bankers Association, and he recorded this and posted it for the world to see. And I just want to see what your thoughts are on it.
Okay, this will be new.
Canada is on the cusp of a revolutionary innovation that will transform the way Canadians authenticate themselves online and protect their identity. Digital ID. All of us are living in a digital world, but we're tethered to an analog model of how we identify ourselves, memorizing countless online passwords, carrying government-issued licenses, plastic cards, and more. Digital ID is a way for Canadians to identify themselves to government, businesses, and each other electronically.
No. So
already.
Well, the thing is the first thing he talked about was all these things, and what he wants to join up something that's hackable. That's one thing we know about. The more the electronic stuff is going on, the more hackings happen. Mm-hmm. It's all the time. And I noticed, you can even go back a little bit because, mind you, I just heard it for the first time, so I'm not going to be able to remember it exactly, but it said something about, easier for businesses and the government to be on board to track you.
Yeah.
But that was the first thing he said.
Yeah, and look at the smile on his face.
Yeah, somebody's going to be making bunches of money. And they make it, and he's selling it. And my gosh, we've only been in it 4 seconds. And he's selling it like stuff that we need and what we want. This terrible analog style with all these passwords.
Yeah, all the paperwork. Oh, come on.
Oh my gosh. Because it makes it so much easier. Boop, 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 boop. Hey, I could do that. If this guy, me, could remember my code and my card, I could push my card in the code, then so can you.
Yeah.
You don't need to just walk past things that are censored. They don't even see where sensors are, and they just read you, know you, and this and everywhere you go. Because the next step, if this isn't just part of it, I don't know, is to monitor your thoughts and what you're thinking. I mean, they've already talked about.
China's already doing this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, China's already here.
So
let me continue on.
I don't want to.
Here we go.
Ease and rock-solid security, without the need to present physical documents. One interconnected network. A federated digital ID ecosystem developed in collaboration with Canada's best and brightest talent from our banks, telecommunication companies, law enforcement, and government.
From
would
the
have
banks,
the power and security to
the banks, crooks, and the telecommunications, biggest scammers. Who out there doesn't get 5+ scams? I mean, I could get 5 or 10 in a day. Telecommunication folk trying to get a hold of me or to sell something or scam me. Mm-hmm. People get this so much already, and now this is going to be you're going to get commercials on your however it works.
So you're saying this isn't a good idea?
No, Scott, I'm saying
No, it's a bad idea.
I'm completely saying it's a bad idea. Yes. Without cuss words.
Dare I? I mean, we are only 45 seconds.
Finish it now.
All right.
Every Canadian's electronic identity and attributes. And it would unlock countless opportunities for Canadians to verify who they are safely, quickly, and securely, while only revealing the information necessary for each transaction.
Oh, sure.
How do you know
A
that?
fast, easy, and secure way to bank, sign up for government services.
So just like what he was saying is that they could. It's only for specific things, like if you go into a restaurant, they're only going to read your restaurant likes, right? Whatever the hell, I'm just making something up on the fly because this is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, if I go to the internet and I go to buy something, goes out to everybody.
Yeah,
it's creating already a digital identity of myself out there. So is these guys going to tell you how it's going to be linked to you? How's it linked to you?
I don't even think we need to play the rest of it because it's all of this same thing. He just adds more and more features and stuff.
I'm about ready to go get my gun.
So I'm a IT guy and I understand how stuff gets tracked. I understand. Just think about currently when you go to some website and it prompts you. It says, "Hey, do you accept these cookies?" And now everyone says, "Yeah, that's fine," because I just want to get to the information. People don't understand how much information about you is being tracked in those cookies. And in fact, sometimes it's not like in that moment personally identifiable like to you. It may not have your name, but there's so many connections with other sites. It's even worse on your apps on your phone because you have to accept those things when you install it. And it has access to other areas on your phone. And so people can get identified by this data. And we're talking so much technology, so many servers. I mean, we're talking pictures of people from 30 years ago in blackface resurface. China right now has profiles on, millions and millions and millions of people. Maybe more than that.
Oh yeah.
And it's not like, let's just say when you go to the store, currently you see everything about who you are, but there's enough information over time to get a pretty good picture of you and your habits and your political leanings and your purchase habits or whatever.
I don't want to go up to the counter and they go, "Oh, Dave, it pops up here that you haven't bought in Preparation H for a couple months. You're probably getting a low, don't you think?" Because they're going to know you and know things that you may not want people to know. And notice that they call them cookies. They don't call them razor blades or barbed wire. They're cookies because everybody likes a cookie.
That's funny.
You freaking jerk off.
So think about it in terms of how China uses their system for credit. It's not like a bank. It's not like, what is it, Inspirion? I don't, if I'm saying it right.
But
these credit score companies, and I can't remember off the top of my head what they're called. Anyway, I know people are listening going, "Oh, no, that's what it is." But in China, they're using more of a system of personal behavior instead of a banking thing.
Right. It's not necessarily about how you're spending it, how much money you make. It's about your social.
Yeah, it's a social score. Yeah. Well, in this particular case, they're partnering up with government. They're partnering up with banking and all these other things. And every time this guy says, "Oh yeah, it's not gonna track everything. It's only what's necessary for that thing." But you're trusting that this company, this organization,
bank and telecommunications,
and
those
government,
people?
you're trusting that they're gonna take care of your data responsibly.
Right.
We know already.
You know that there's some family members that you have that you can't trust them. Why would you trust people in a banking, that are making money off of your identity? And, here's the thing is even with your cell phones and everything that we have right now, not only can they track and keep track of all the things that you've done and every place you visit, they track where you are physically too.
Physically, yeah.
Already. All this is doing is, it's, and I want to say simplify it is, but mainstream it, make it, and I have to ask you this too, because if but just making it easier and making it like the thing that worries me is networked. So you're going to be hooked up with other people, other things, and always.
Yeah.
But how are they talking about? Are you going to have to wear a little bracelet? I mean, how are you going to get linked to this consistently?
I'm sure that they would start off with something that's basic.
Because
like
prior to this, I'm going to interrupt you.
Mhm.
Apologize.
Sure,
Just
yeah.
asked you a question. I'm just dogging on it. But this was a conspiracy stuff back in the day too, and so was being tracked. But here we're doing it with our phones on, knowing it. But remember implants,
Mhm.
and they're already doing that some places. There's some jobs, I think even in the States, that require you to have one because that's just who they are.
Well, we do that with animals, pets.
Yeah,
already.
well, you can call those people what you want.
But you don't need to because you have other digital devices. You've got your phone, you've got your watch.
But they're mainstream.
There are rings.
These are just, that's just too difficult. And I think that once it's in you, you can't get rid of it. You know what I mean? As well, as easy. When I think, did they mention how?
Well, think of
how this works.
Well, think of it this way. With those the RF chips or whatever in your credit card, in your phone. I mean, I use Apple Pay when I go to the store and buy stuff, so I don't have to carry stuff every time I go into a store. And that transaction gets recorded, but that information goes up into the cloud someplace.
Sure.
And what they're talking about is really kind of an aggregated service where we're consolidating a lot of stuff into one thing. And then they're going to create some method of tapping into that to all of these other organizations. And there's going to be you're going to have a profile that all of these different organizations are going to be able to see, and they get to determine what information they get to see.
Yeah, even if you decide to decline anything and everything, that'll be in your profile.
Yeah.
But so the thing is that sure that they could follow us with our interactions of how we buy things or carry our phones and stuff, but this to me, in at least the short time I listened to it, it sounds like it's going to be a mandatory thing. So if you don't have example, if it's going to be mostly tracked and stuff through your cell phones or whatever we have, is it going to be mandated that we have that ring on? Is it going to be then just easier to get?
Sure.
We mandate everybody to get an implant.
Yeah. Well, and the thing, like for an implant, I mean, the technology doesn't exist yet to have a small implant that would be perpetually available to track your location and all that other stuff. It would be proximity, so it would scan you as you walk by some device, and that could give it. But like your phone, it's always on. It's always got GPS tracking going on. It's always, it has all these other technologies.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to be a chip until the technology can be small enough to then be powered by you and do those things that your phone can currently do. It's just a matter of time. Technology may get to that point. But
I know that I believe that we're I'm making this up. I don't know, 40 or 60 years behind. So I think that the stuff has already been available.
People already do get
They're
chips.
just trying to, right. But I'm just saying that I think they're just trying to sell it to the world before they can bring it out and say, well, we happen to already have this all here.
Yeah, well, to your point, though, about government requiring this, absolutely. I think that's what this guy and his organization has been trying to push, is get Canada to actually adopt this and make it universal. Now, Trudeau identified, these different protesters and their banking and went to their banks and froze their accounts. And other people who donated to certain organization or
losing everything,
they also got identified, and they also can get
arrested.
Get arrested. They can get their accounts frozen. I mean, we're talking about government already has the ability to do all these things.
The benefit is for everybody else, not for, I feel, the individual person. What's the benefit of us?
His pitch
for
is
them?
It makes it convenient
For them, more so than us.
It makes it convenient for people using this to do everyday transactions. The problem is that you start then developing this profile, and that profile, you as a human, everything that you're talking about, preparation H, going in, oh, well, I can see that you haven't purchased it. Well, maybe this is a suggested buy, and add it to your cart automatically.
Right.
But
maybe I won't be allowed to get on any flights because they don't like where I stand on things.
Yeah, or this becomes part of your resume, and you can't get a job someplace because you've been flagged for something.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly, you can't. To me, this is a
He's
really
a terrible person.
this is the direction I think the world is going to go, unfortunately.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't like it. It's been going in this direction, and here's a guy who's, promoting it with a big smile on his face.
Absolutely.
That it's such a wonderful thing. But back to that Great Reset book, this is the sort of thing that is starting to be implemented as kind of a reset to our way of life, our population.
Thanks for listening to the shortened version of our show.
If you want to catch the full audio episode, you can find it here or wherever you find your podcast. But if you want to see the full version in video format, you can catch us on YouTube, Rumble, and now on Spotify.